Hey guys, it is day 137 of this fitness journey. It's like 63 degrees out here, but very muggy. I'm out here today in the Shaq Rack Lows. Of course, from the Shaq brand. There it is from that side, and here it is from the other side. Now, yesterday I was in the Nike Book Ones, and those things felt fantastic. And then I'm in these things, and it's kind of an unfair comparison because these cost nowhere near what a new pair of Nike Book Ones cost. But when you're a thrifter like me, it all about costs the same, because the Nike Book Ones, I find those used for, I think it was around $20 or $30, and then these brand new were about the same price. Granted, they were on clearance, but still around the same price. I'm on a pretty hard cycle for cardiovascular fitness today. For me, which consists of like 1.5 minute jogs and then 2-minute rest cycles, and 1.5 minutes continuously right now at my level of fitness is just ridiculously hard for me. So I am trying to shorten the stride, slow the step, everything I can do to try to conserve energy. It's pretty brutal for me. I acknowledge that's what happens when you're old and fat. It is what it is. I just have to strive to do better. I just completed the second jog cycle out of 6, and oh my God, it's like I'm just begging to get through it. Like I'm just begging the watch to give me a signal to stop running. The shoes really aren't doing anything to help. I've worn these things casually a couple times, and I loved the way they felt for that. Just really nice. And there's a lot of premium materials on the shoe that make it well worth the price. But anything beyond just casual walking right now, it's very unforgiving. Like, there's cushion, and I'd prefer this shoe over like 80s Air Maxes. And by far, to me, those are almost some of the worst shoes ever made. But that's still not saying much. That was just the end of my third cycle. Air quality is poor, 98% humidity. The sunglasses are fogging up. What the shoes and the limitations there within, and the environment and my level of physical fitness is all kind of playing together to force me to really slow down my stride. And when I go for that jog, learning how to control that more is vitally important. Also for structural safety, because I don't want to overextend the knee or anything like that. So keeping everything nicely centered is important, especially in a pair of non-forgiving shoes. Now, I don't want you to get the feeling like these shoes are rocks. Like if you saw them used somewhere and you were kind of wondering if you should throw down 20 or 30 bucks. You're not buying a pair of rocks that are going to feel awful on your feet. Casually speaking, they feel really nice, and I do love the look. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she's not the biggest fan, but she's very moody on different days. Like today, she called them my dad shoes. But when I wore them 6 months ago, she thought they looked really nice. So who knows? It sounds stupid, but I never really understood anything about pacing, as a non-runner. I would see people jogging, and it would be like, I would think to myself, man, they're running kind of slow. What's the point? And I just make these little micro judgments, and I don't know. Now I see exactly why they had to adjust pacing or whatever, because my fat butt is learning how slow I can jog. Now, that was either my 5th or 6th jog session. I hope to God it was my 6th. For those of you who may just be watching, I've decided to train at age 46 in my physical fitness to train for a marathon that will happen in May of 2027. Leading up to that, I'm going to be doing a 5K race, and that'll happen in the week of July 12th. Please don't say June. So the goals that I've set for myself is the week, or actually July 12th, a 5K race, possibly the 18th, another 5K race, and then a bout of training for about 8 weeks, and then a 10K race. If I can find a half marathon around New Year's Eve sometime, I will give that a try. And then finally in May, I'm gonna run my first marathon. These are extremely lofty goals. This is like my Mount Everest, and I'm at the bottom. I'm sweaty after 1.5 minute jogs. Obviously, I have a long way to go And the only thing that I have to really help me through this process is Chat GPT and a very supportive wife and son. So back to the shoes. The fit was, just slipping into the shoes, I would describe it as mostly comfortable, but I was wearing the shoes for about 15 minutes while I was preparing breakfast that unfortunately I was tasting all the way through those jogs. So I started noticing a little bit of discomfort in my right pinky toe, and I knew that if I didn't address it right then, that I was going to form a really bad blister. The shoes do have somewhat of an aggressive taper, and unfortunately it kind of rounded out that pinky toe and it made it hurt. A little athletic tape on the pinky toe and then release the shoes, and that takes care of that. I can't see anything. Like, I can't see my phone or really anything because it's so foggy. Everything's a blur. It sucks out here, guys. It rained a lot here last night, and I probably shouldn't have wore these shoes out today, but they were the next thing in the queue, so I just rocked with it. But now I'm getting the shoes a little bit nasty. I have to clean them up before I put them back into storage, which is really just my overpacked closet. I don't get the greatest sense that you're going to get the greatest traction in these shoes. I mean, they are Shaq's. Sorry, Shaq. I love your play, but but again, to me, this is like a step up from everything his line has made before. And I've actually loved the ripped off designs that he's made. Like, I've bought some Shaqs for my son that look better, a lot better than some Jordans, and my son loved them. And again, from a casual perspective, I love these shoes. They're fantastic. Now, when I try to run in them and I compare that to how I felt yesterday in, like, say, the Book Ones, well, there's a big difference, and there should be. But both shoes in their own way are using really premium materials, only this one's doing it on a budget. So these are kind of like your budget Book Ones. I personally like the look of these better, but the feel of the Book Ones a lot better. If you could combine the two, well, that would be really, really awesome. On a side note, I'm wearing some old budget Adidas cologne from the 80s. Like, they don't even make this stuff anymore. Like, they make Adidas colognes, but not this. And I'm out here like an hour later and I'm still smelling it under my nose. Like, this stuff is potent. They were probably making this stuff for teenagers back in the day, but man, like, I smell old. And that's okay, because I look old. I am old. And I didn't even like go to town with it. Like, one behind each ear, one on the inside of the elbows, and that was it. Besides like the lack of like superior cushioning that one might need if they were actually running in these things or playing basketball, is the feeling of lockdown. Like, I don't think they're terrible, but I do notice that there is a little bit of heel slip, and there's not much I can do about it. There's the laces. You can just tell that if you apply too much pressure on these things, it'll probably rip through. Now, the laces themselves are really nice and sturdy, but the materials of the shoe, I just don't want to stress it too much. The final statement of the shoes is that if you're comparing new to new at new cost versus other shoes of new cost, I think this is probably the best pair of shoes that you can find for the money whenever it came out. Now, I don't know if they're available now, probably not, but when they were coming out at the price that they were being sold at, which I forgot what it was, but I don't think you're going to find anything better. When I compare this against budget basketball shoes, which I tend not to try to go down that rabbit hole too much because a lot of it does feel like absolute turds. With that said, this is a really good one. So if you were like me and your family was a little too broke to be able to afford name brand shoes, and your shoes came from Walmart or places like that, a pair of shoes like this is an upgrade from junk like that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I really appreciate you all watching and the subscriptions and all that. I do appreciate it so much. I'll be out here again tomorrow. Hopefully you all take it easy. Later.